This is a presentation that in one form or another I've been giving ever since May 2011, when it originated as a public talk for alumni of the OSU History Department that I was asked to give. And I was asked to talk about the origins of the American Civil War, but also to kind of give it a current events flavor. And so I talked about it as the democracy that broke incivility and the origins of the American Civil War. And it proved to be really all too prescient in terms of talking about the increasing toxicity of American political culture, which was bad enough in 2011 and has really gotten a lot worse since then. So let me share the screen with you. It is kind of a long presentation, but it's important, and so I hope that you'll bear with me. Okay. All right. Here are the terms for this lecture. By the end of this presentation, you should understand how toxic or how hyper-partisanship and current American political life it originated as a kind of performance art, but has assisted in the emergence of a genuinely toxic political culture. Second, the concept of civic virtue and its importance for the survival of a republic. Third, the distinction between a republic and a democracy. Next, the chain of events from 1848 to 1860 that led to a fatally divided United States. And this would include the Wilmot Proviso, the Compromise of 1850, the Kansas-Nebraska Act, Bleeding Kansas, the Dred Scott decision, and the Harper's Ferry raid. Next, how the presidential election year of 1860 completed the division of the country and sort of and placed the country on the road to really the dissolution of the United States and the emergence of an incipient civil war. Next, the meaning of something called the paranoid style in American politics. This is a phrase that comes from historian Richard Hofstadter and does a good job of explaining a certain dynamic in American political discourse that goes back to the immediate post-Revolutionary War period. And then finally, the thesis, influential thesis proposed by political scientists Stephen Levitsky and Daniel Zivlot regarding how democracies die. Now, on October 15th, 2004, as Democratic challenger John Kerry was squaring off against the incumbent president, Republican George W. Bush, in the 2004 presidential election, comedian Jon Stewart appeared on the CNN show Crossfire. Now, the show pitted liberal Paul Begala, who you see there, against conservative Tucker Carlson. Yes, that Tucker Carlson is now on Fox News, in a point-counterpoint political debate format. And because of Stewart's extended critique of the show that appears in this clip here, it was a very famous appearance. And I'm going to play an extended segment of it because it really, he really calls Begala and Tucker Carlson on sort of the performance art aspect of what is purportedly a show about political dialogue and political debate.
It's funny, you know, and I made a special effort to come on the show today because I have privately amongst my friends and also in occasional newspapers and television shows mentioned this show as being bad. And I felt that wasn't fair, and I should come here and tell you that it's not so much that it's bad as it's hurting America. So I wanted to
But
come
in
here
its
today
defense, let me-
and say,
Wait,
I just, here's just what I wanted to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Stop. Stop hurting America.
Okay, now
and come work for us, because we, as the people.
How do you pay?
The people, not well.
better than CNN, I'm sure.
But you can sleep at night. See, the thing is, we need your help. Right now you're helping the politicians and the corporations, and we're left out there to mow our
You just
lawns.
said we're too rough on them when they make mistakes.
No, you're not too rough on them. You're part of their strategies. You're partisan, what do you call it, hacks.
Wait, John, let me
so-
tell you something valuable that I think we do that I'd like to see you do.
Something valuable?
Yeah, no, well, it's
I would
nice
like to- I would
when
like to hear
politicians,
it.
and I'll tell you, when politicians come on,
Yeah.
it's nice to get them to try and answer the question. And in order to do that, we try and ask them pointed questions. I want to contrast our questions with some questions you asked John Kerry.
If you want to compare your show to a comedy show, you're more than
but
welcome to.
here's the point. Kerry doesn't have.
If that's your goal,
No, it's not.
I wouldn't aim for us. I'd aim for
Here's
Seinfeld.
the problem.
That's
Kerry
a very
won't-
good show.
Kerry won't come on this show. He will come on your show. Let me suggest why he wants to.
Well,
come
we
on
have
your show.
civilized discourse.
Well, here's an example of civilized discourse. Here are three of the questions you asked John.
Yeah.
You have a chance to interview the Democratic nominee. You ask him questions such as, quote, how are you holding up? Is it hard not to take the attacks personally?
Yeah.
Have you ever flip-flopped, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
Didn't you feel like you got the chance to interview the guy? Why not ask him a real question instead of just suck up to him?
Yeah, how you holding up is a real suck up, and I actually was giving him a hot stone massage
It sounded that way.
as we were doing it.
It did.
You know, it's interesting to hear you talk about
I felt the
my
sparks between you.
responsibility to the. You know, I didn't realize that, and maybe this explains quite a bit.
No, the opportunity
is that
of
the news organizations look to Comedy Central for their cues on integrity. So, what I would suggest is, when you talk about you're holding politicians' feet to the fire, I think that's disingenuous. I think you're.
How are you holding up? I mean, come on.
No. I don't. But my role isn't. I don't
You
think.
can ask him a real question, don't you think? Instead of saying, you know.
I don't think I
how'd you
have
get
to.
so
By the way,
wonderful?
I also asked him, you know, were you in Cambodia? But I didn't really care, because I don't care, because I
I
think
can
it's
tell.
stupid. Well, but my point is this: if your idea of confronting me is that I don't ask hard-hitting enough news questions, we're in bad shape, fellas.
We're here to love you, not confront you.
No.
I
But what
promise.
I'm
We're here to be
saying
nice.
is this: I'm not. I'm here to confront you because we need help from the media, and they're hurting us. And it's the idea is.
If the indictment, let me get this straight. If the indictment is, and I have seen you say this, that Crossfire reduces everything, as I said in the intro, to left, right, black, white.
Yes.
Well, it's because, see, we're a debate show. It's like saying the Weather Channel reduces
that'd be
everything
great.
to a storm.
I would love to see a debate
in a
show.
24-hour day where we have each side on as best we can get them.
That would be great.
And have them fight it out.
To do a debate would be great, but that's like saying pro wrestling is a show about athletic
I'm sorry.
competition.
I think you're a good comedian. I think your lectures are boring. Let me ask you a question on the news.
Now, this is theater. I mean, it's obvious. How old are you?
35.
And you wear a bow tie.
Yeah, I do. I do.
So this is.
No, I know.
So this
You're
is
right.
theater.
No, let me just go. No, come on.
And
come on.
listen, I'm not suggesting that you're not a smart guy, because those are not easy to tie. But the thing is that you're doing theater when you should be doing debate, which would be great.
No, it's just
not
true.
honest.
And
What you do
there's
is
an
not
element, of
honest.
course,
What you do is
perfectly
partisan hackery. And I'll tell you
You
why
have
I
John
know
Kerry
it.
on your show, and you sniff his throne, and you're accusing us of partisan hackery?
Absolutely.
You've got to be kidding, man. He
You're
comes
on
and you literally
CNN.
say,
The show that leads into me is puppets making crank phone calls. What is wrong with you?
well, I'm just saying, there's no reason for you, when you have this marvelous opportunity not to be the guy's butt boy, to go ahead and be his butt boy.
Yes,
Come on,
no,
it's embarrassing.
I was absolutely his butt boy. I was so far. You would not believe what he ate 2 weeks ago. You know, the interesting thing that I have is you have a responsibility to the public discourse, and you
You need to get
fail
a job at a journalism
miserably.
school, I think.
You need to go to one. The thing that I want to say is, when you have people on for just knee-jerk, reactionary talk.
Wait, I thought you were going to be funny. Come on, be funny.
No, I'm not going to be your monkey.
Go ahead.
I watch your show every day, and it kills me.
I can tell you love it.
It's so painful to watch. You know, Because we need what you do. This is such a great opportunity you have here to actually get politicians
really Jon
off
Stewart
of their
business
marketing
anyway?
and strategy. Yeah, it's someone who watches your show and cannot take it anymore. I just can't.
What's it like to have dinner with you? It must be.
Okay. Now you're wondering, well, why, Professor Grimsley, are you having us watch this at such length? You are looking at an early 21st century critique of what the media was like in antebellum America, pre-war America. The idea of objective journalism had not yet emerged. The newspapers in the various towns in America came in whatever flavors of the political parties. So that, for example, in Cincinnati, there was a Republican newspaper and a Democratic newspaper, and most of what those newspapers, like other newspapers, published was really political editorials, and had a very strong take no prisoners political position, and so they were almost like house organs for the various political parties within their own regions. So that was characteristic of the Civil War, and what politicians could do was to give speeches that were strident in tone, that were then amplified by the editorials of these various newspapers. If you were a Democrat, you read the local Democratic newspaper, and you had a kind of a "here be dragons" attitude toward the local Republican newspaper, or the Whig newspaper before that, and vice versa. And the result was made to order to create a polarizing environment. And what Jon Stewart was really calling for was to take these cable news shows like Crossfire and to point out that they were really not making any kind of authentic contribution to American political dialogue or understanding at all. What they were doing was performance art. And this appearance struck a real chord with the American public, and also with the new president and CEO of CNN when he came to the helm in January 2005, because he announced the cancellation of Crossfire. He said that he wanted to change the tone of shows on the network, CNN. And in interviews, he said that he sympathized with Jon Stewart's criticisms of Crossfire, and that he, quote, wanted to move CNN away from what he called head-butting debate shows. Well, unfortunately, Crossfire may have gone away, but the partisanship inherent in the Crossfire show remained. I would say that the main difference that has gone on since then is that it's been all one side and all the other, which is to say that on Fox News, for example, you don't see liberal and conservative counterpoint shows. You did that once upon a time with when Sean Hannity had a Democratic counterpart who they debated in point counterpoint style. But now Fox News has one set of political opinions that it drives the train on very hard. MSNBC has another. CNN, I think, tries to sort of take a little bit of a median course, but not very successfully. And if you to the extent that you watch cable news network, ostensibly you're getting a lot of political news, but what you're really getting more than anything else is very strong partisan political opinions that do very little to educate us on the larger issues that the country faces. That is true now, and it was true in the 1850s as well.